So caught up in other stuff, man. So we live on YouTube. Got to start the recording though.
Yep. Y'all keep flowing though. We good.
Yeah. No, man, you're right. And it's just funny, folks don't it's like it's foreign to see somebody actually stand up who owns a product and is trying to create their own for you, how we react to that versus somebody who just gets employed by the same system who keeps fucking us over. So that's the biggest thing there. But without further ado, hello and welcome to the Lost Confederacy channel. This is week 4 of the 13-week fiscal program of recovery for American prisoners of war. You have myself, Chief Biko. Today we have Chief Alligator, Chief Quiet Water, as well as Chief Blackcoat. And here, as always, we focus more so on that first letter in the acronym APOW, which is American. Without further ado, we're going to continue to play the Anti-Defamation League report by MSNBC in regards to the 38,000 militia members that they found within the Oath Keepers and how they are pretty much in every line of business, every sector, every industry within this government called the United States. So again, without further ado, I'll go ahead and play that video. And we're going to continue to reiterate this point until we get it as a group of people. What are you voting for when they're clearly displaying that whoever you vote for doesn't matter? We have everything covered within this government.
Anti-Defamation League Center on Extremism is out with an in-depth analysis of a leaked Oath Keepers membership list from a year ago, which finds there were hundreds of names on it of current or former elected officials, law enforcement officers, and members of the military. The Oath Keepers are a far-right militia group, multiple members of which stormed the United States Capitol during the insurrection and then attack on January 6th. For more on this new report, CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, joins us now. Jonathan, thanks for being with us. So take us through the report that you all did, how you got your hands on the list, and what were some of the more troubling aspects of what you found?
Sure. Thank you for having me this morning, Willie. And I will tell you, this is a chilling report, the likes of which we've never released before. Last September, ADL analysts were able to get our hands on a data leak of the Oath Keepers membership rolls. There were 38,000 names that were essentially pulled from their records and put out in the open. Our analysts pulled down the information before the Oath Keepers could pull it back. We used open source techniques, including public records, social media, and other methods to review every single name that we found. And I must say, we thought the Oath Keepers were a threat when they rampaged through the Capitol on January the 6th, but we had no idea just how deep the threat truly is. We found hundreds of active law enforcement members who are part of the Oath Keepers, 10 chiefs of police, 11 sheriffs, dozens and dozens of active members of the U.S. military, some 80 individuals who were running for public office, almost 24 of whom made it through the primaries and will be up this fall. And look, you might not know all of these names. Many people might know Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers, who still, months after the terror attack at the Capitol, proudly proclaimed that she was an Oath Keeper and supported the group. But I'm talking about a county commissioner in Nevada, a town justice in New York, a firearms instructor in Pittsburgh, a pastor in North Carolina, and it goes on and on and on. These are individuals with access and influence. These are individuals with resources and training. And these are individuals who have shown us they are willing to commit acts of sedition and violence against the U.S. government.
Jonathan, are you surprised at the extent of the membership of the Oath Keepers and other far-right groups who apparently, or maybe they do know, that the underpinnings of the philosophy of these groups are rooted in race and religion. In other words, they're against anybody who isn't white. And Jewish people obviously have a target on their backs based upon their philosophies. Does this surprise you at all that their membership is so diverse in a sense?
It somewhat does. I mean, look, right-wing extremism is the spectrum. We know that, Mike. And so there are white supremacists, there are sovereign citizens, and indeed, there are these armed militia groups. We know organizations like the Proud Boys, you know, Tario, the head of it, is Hispanic. And indeed, there is some diversity among the Oath Keepers. But I think what's more frightening is the fact that they, for a long time, have prioritized recruiting active and retired law enforcement and military. We thought, Mike, they weren't being successful. We were wrong. We have a problem with an enemy inside our own ranks who has committed, as the Oath Keepers do, to uphold a higher oath, not to have fidelity to our commander-in-chief or necessarily to the jurisdictions where they work, but to their notion of the Constitution and a holy obligation that, again, puts minorities, puts Democrats, and puts ordinary citizens in their crosshairs.
CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, thank you very much for coming on this morning.
All right. So again, as I stated earlier, just another example of this government not being ran by us, not being ran for us, being infiltrated again, each sector, each factory, each industry. So again, why are we putting our faith into this system? Not only our faith, but our resources as well. And with that, we'll jump into our readings today.
Hold on 1 second before we go there. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Anybody want to share on that real quick? I'll start it off. You got to get people's attention. So when they say the militia has infiltrated the United States government's public sector, with them, and they hold a different allegiance to the Constitution. Our first video was talking about the 1755 Militia Act. So this man said that 80 people are running for public office. He only named one. And I think it's amazing that none of our people, none of these quote unquote, we don't have a media outlet at this point. So Chief Blackcoat, you could probably go more into detail about that when you're talking about the strategy of war. We don't have a communication. Nobody is talking about this amongst our people, that militia is your chief of police, your police officers, your military, your public servants. And like I said last week, we scratch our head and wonder why they can kill us on video and never have to go to court for murder trials. He just exposed it. I'll stop right there. But this is what militia mean, y'all. They're not walking around talking about no justice, no peace.
And I'll just add that part where he said we have an enemy within our system. You know, that kind of went over my head. He's kind of speaking in circles because you don't have an enemy, sir. Whoever you are. Who are you talking about? We have an enemy within our hometown, within our land. So for you to try to speak as if you're representing who the enemy is actually attacking, let's go a little deeper on what you mean. There's an enemy within the system. No, the system is working for you, sir. What are you talking about? Are you saying you're on the side of the American people, the true Americans? You know, and then these numbers, that number went over my head too as well, 38,000. Okay, that's a big number. That's a big number. I know it's more, but that's a big number. And just that piece, I just wanted to add that piece. But what do you mean we have an enemy within our system? The Oath Keepers. You look like an Oath Keeper to me. So are you playing fiddle with this program, NBC, whatever that channel is you're on? Or what are we doing? Who are you representing right now? Who are you standing for? Make that more, you know, noticeable of what you're talking about, because we don't know what you're talking about because the enemy looks like you. we have an enemy within our system, meaning the American people. And it's not even our system, so I should stop saying that. That's not our system. That's the system that we're trying to actually debunk, destroy, dismantle. But that's my words on that.
I definitely think you hit it spot on in regards to that. He just talking, basically. Yeah, make it clear who you're actually talking about. It's definitely not your group of people, it's us that has this enemy that's working against us. And like you said, it's not our system, but they're definitely working against us. And he put it out there on, to put people on notice, but what's being done about it? Nothing's being done about it. They basically saying, we told y'all before anything happened. Well, anything major happens.
Not even more so what we told y'all. To me, this is kind of them like kind of pulling that Band-Aid off a little bit, or actually leaving it on. Leaving it on, because if you leave the Band-Aid on, the heel won't wound.
Right.
After a while, you gotta take it off fucking breeze. Now they're just like, yeah, leave it on.
Yeah, right. Good point.
No, excellent points made by both of y'all. And great point, like you said, who are you talking for and who are you talking to? Just in regards to, having an enemy within our system. And you put the nail in the coffin. You said this isn't our system. So who is the enemy? We are the enemy, but you're just speaking in code to your group of people, trying to, say, okay, we need to eliminate the American. Because like you said, you're not being clear on who you're representing, because you look like the enemy to us. So no, that's a great point. Great point made. Let me see here. With that, I'll jump into this week's American Inventor. And this week's American Inventor, we have Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone, born in 1832. This is a picture of her here. Born in 1832 in North Carolina, Craven County, North Carolina to be exact. Don't have an actual day in regards to when she was born in February, but definitely February 1832. And her invention is improvements to the ironing board. So I'll kind of blow this up here. And what these three figures are, let's get this straight. These three figures are basically figure 1 and figure 2 are for the sleeves of a t-shirt or a garment, basically to help iron those, to help make sure, any wrinkles are taken out of it. And then we have this third figure here. Forget what they said this piece was for, but basically it's for the improvement of the ironing board. So this here is basically specifically to help with the ironing of sleeves. And that patent number is going to be US 47365-3A. And that patent was approved on April 26, 1892. So April 26, 1892. And Sarah Boone was married, had 8 children here, and passed away in 1904 in New Haven, Connecticut. But she is credited for improvements to the ironing board. And didn't do any research in regards to if her family or anybody gets any resources from her invention, but pretty much can guess, just like a lot of our other American inventors that we've had thus far, they probably don't receive any type of funding or any type of resources from this invention. And that is our American inventor for today. And next we will have, I believe, Chief Alligator, you doing the Dr. Woodson quote?
Yes, sir. I will do the I'll do number 2. Quote number 2, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the founder of Black History Month, what we know now as Black History Month. Negroes, however, sometimes choose their own leaders, but unfortunately, they are too often of the wrong kind. Negroes do not readily follow persons with constructive programs, Almost any sort of exciting appeal or trivial matter presented to them may receive immediate attention and temporary, at least liberal support. When the bubble collapses, of course, these same followers will begin to decry Negro leadership and call these misrepresentatives of the group rascals and scoundrels. That one sticks out to me today because the back row on the chessboard is still the Congressional Black Caucus. And there's so many things that have happened within this group since 2020, the first year after the 400-year curse, if you want to go biblical or with the allegorical story. Yeah, they're just very silent. And so we get all these other people. It's kind of like shock testing at this point, but my eyes are staying focused on the people who actually get paid to represent this group that do absolutely nothing. So that's why I chose that quote today.
Excellent quote for today. And lastly, we'll have Chief Quietwater with this week's legal definitions and maroon historical points.
Legal definitions this week. Number 1, American, indigenous to America. Number 2, descendants, one who follows in the bloodline of an ancestor, either lineally or collaterally. Number 3, slavery, a situation in which one person has absolute power over the life, fortune, and liberty of another. Number 4, prisoner of war, a person, usually a soldier, who is captured by or surrenders to the enemy in wartime. Number 5, school, any institution at which instruction is given in a particular discipline. Number 6, education, an enlightening experience. Number 7, recovery, a return to a normal state of health, mind, or strength, the action or process of regaining possession of something stolen or lost. And the maroon historical points. Number 1 was a person escaping slavery, seeking freedom, or breaking the law. Number 2, providing unity and a strong defense came first. Number 3, maroon leaders were first and foremost military figures. Number 4, maroons established guerrilla warfare, planting sharp sticks in thick grass. And number 5, maroons knew their European enemies' language, defenses, and plans.
Excellent. And thank you, Chief Quietwater. Now, before we jump into our readings for this week, I know last week we spoke about Jim Crow laws, actually read off a few from different states that would be considered in the underneath the Dixie line or the Dixie belt. And definitely wanted to highlight this one clip that was brought to our attention this week from Muhammad Ali that pretty much just, again, just as another example of those Jim Crow laws. And he also says something as well that we'll pick up on after we watch the video, but definitely just wanted to highlight this and show this clipping here.
1958, we couldn't eat in the restaurants in Louisville. We couldn't eat downtown. One day I saw 2 Africans go in with their robes and their turbans. They couldn't speak English. I heard the man say, "Let him in, they're not Negroes." And I said, "Something's wrong. I can't say it's because I'm black, because they're so black and they're blue," but they went in. So I said, "Well, I get my Olympic gold medal, then I'll go in." I went and got my gold medal, went back in, ordered 2 cheeseburgers, and they said, "Sorry, we don't serve Negroes." I said, "I don't eat them either. Just give me 2 cheeseburgers." And she said, "You getting smart." She called the manager and he said something about, "I don't care who he is." She said, "Catch his leg. I don't care who he is." Anyway, but I couldn't, the idea was I couldn't eat there. So I got so angry. I drove down to the Ohio River and stood there and looked at the gold medal, and I could imagine that American flag waving when they play the national anthem when I beat the Pole in Russian. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm standing at the medal on. Dun, 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 dun. I said, "Boy, I'm going back to Louisville. I can eat now. I can go to the restaurants, put them on the spot. They can't put me out there. I'm the champ of the world. I'm in a big country like Rome, representing the United States, one little city named Louisville, and now I beat the whole world." Boy, dun, dun. They put me out of that restaurant. I said, "This medal ain't worth a damn. I've become so frustrated. Now I wish I still had it because I wouldn't become as frustrated now. But at the time, I took that medal and said, ain't worth nothing. I don't care. I took it off my neck. So it ain't no good. It ain't, don't you know how I remember. I hear there's problems in Australia, just like there are in America and other countries. But to all of those, regardless of you're Australian, whether you're black or white, it's one thing I want you to always remember. It says, when we mistreat others, we are certainly mistreating the artists who created them. If we realize this, it will not be difficult to feel God's presence everywhere. I repeat, when we mistreat others, we are certainly mistreating the artists who created them. If we realize this, it will not be difficult to feel God's presence everywhere.
All right. So that was the clip. Again, just highlighted what we spoke about last week in regards to Jim Crow laws, how our people weren't able to eat in certain restaurants. I think one of the Jim Crow laws that we had read was that they would have to have, of course, 2 separate dining areas, and not just 2 areas, but also have a wall in between quote unquote black people and quote unquote white people. But he also mentioned something in regards to, you know, I guess the manager or whoever was at the front actually taking the orders saying, oh, they're Africans, we could serve them. So they clearly know the distinction between the African and the Negro, but our people don't seem to know that distinction. So it, again, just has to ask, you have to ask yourself the question, okay, so if they know who Africans are and who Negroes are, then why don't we know who the Negro is, which is the American? Everybody else knows who we are except for us. So that was one thing that kind of just stood out to me within that clip. And that was like one of the first times, actually seeing an example of that, but then also seeing, okay, they know who looks like everybody on this this channel, who looks like Muhammad Ali, same complexion, things of that nature. Oh, you're the Negro, you're the American, but these people that just walked in, we know they're African. So that was cool to kind of see that, people know the distinction. So why are we calling ourselves African Americans, blacks, these other reclassification terms? But I'll let y'all build off of that.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. That was a great point. The point that stood out to me, which rhymes with Kanye West, who's been in the news for the last week, is Jim Crow. The way I look at Jim Crow from a practical standpoint, what if Muhammad Ali didn't want to leave that restaurant? What would happen? So this kind of ties into being infiltrated by militia. In order to enforce Jim Crow, that means that manager had 100% confidence that he could call the sheriff would come down. If Muhammad Ali didn't want to leave when the sheriff came, they could call the militia, or they could get whatever level of government was needed to get that Negro out of that establishment. I think that's the hard part for us when we talk about Jim Crow, because we never really go into detail when we learn our history through the school system, what Jim Crow was. You can write a law, but how are they enforcing it? It was enforced because if you go to their court system, you would have been found guilty of going to an all-white restaurant. On top of that, the fact that here's the heavyweight champ of the world, just won a gold medal in the Olympics, as he said. He thought for sure that y'all just recognized me on the world stage. Surely I can go into this white restaurant in 1958. And that rhymes with Kanye West. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this to the day I die in regard to these people. In 2020, that was a year that we could no longer walk away from what we saw. When a group of people can kill you and nothing happens, that means that there's no line drawn in the sand as far as respect is concerned for this group of people. So here you have a billionaire entertainer in Kanye West, and he's being told, watch your mouth. So you got one group of our people okay with him having to watch his mouth. And then you got another group of people that are like, yeah, speak up. But I can see Jim Crow still within us, even though those laws are no longer being practiced. We have become conditioned to don't say anything about gays, don't say anything about Jews, white supremacy. what they're really doing is like kind of bringing Jim Crow back in a very third dimensional way that if we're not careful, we'll end up right back where we were in 1958. I'll land my plane there.
Yeah, I think that that was definitely a powerful video. I do think, like you said, with Kanye, he's bold enough to, I don't even think that it's him being bold. I just think that his being and his spirit is just speaking through who he really is in regards to the things that he say. And I don't think that he's necessarily definitely not wrong in what he's saying, but the fact that that people can actually say that, oh, shh, be quiet, don't say this and don't say that, when what he's saying is the truth. Number one is facts, and he's bringing things to light that people are saying that they want, you know, the freedom, the everything that we say that we want, and he's opening up a door for people to walk through, but nobody's supporting him. Nobody's walking through that door with him because they want him to just be quiet and hush and just go with, you know, just go with the program. So definitely a good video.
I'll add on to what Chief Whitewater just said. Go with the program. No. That's what this channel's about. Shout out to Muhammad Ali. We truly don't know what our elders and our ancestors went through. He even made a joke within that video about, I surely don't eat them either. We're not even gonna go there. It's difficult. It's not difficult. It's like our group of people have lost a huge amount of confidence in themselves. I'm big on confidence. I'm always big on confidence and standing up for yourself and standing up for your family name. And our group just is not there no more. You know, it is definitely just go along with the program. Like Chief Delegate said, you can't talk about Jews. You can't talk about gays. You can't talk about white supremacy. So you know it's a thing and you don't want to talk about it. You just want to go along with the BS, watch your people die every day on TV. People that look like you. And now that I kind of already understood it maybe like 2-3 years ago before everything exploded, just hearing music, you know, about how we just talk about each other in our music versus how everybody else talks in their music. And it's like, damn, how we party to this? How are we partying to, you know, like Ye said, I'm gonna fuck your bitch, I'm gonna kill this nigga. Why would I listen to that? And I don't listen to it. When I tell people I don't listen to rap, they think I'm capping. And I'm not capping. Why the fuck would I listen to that? But I'm not programmed, and nobody on this channel is programmed. And honestly, our people are gone. I've tried to like talk to a normal and try to poke them to the point to where they would just say, oh, okay. And nah, it's get the fuck out of here. Bye. What the fuck are you talking about? Why would you say that? And I'm like, damn, hold on. I'm fighting for us. I'm fighting for people that look like you or me. How you mad at me? But that program is deep. And I don't even know how it got so deep because I wasn't able to be programmed, but I'm just trying to understand where is this coming from to where it's repetition. It's repetition. Yeah, if you listen to it long enough and watch it long enough, you'll think it's normal. But like Ye said, and we don't gotta keep harping on my brother, but like he said, you know, our people are it's hard to stand up for somebody that don't even know why you standing up. So it's like, shout out to him just for even, you know, attempting. I'm actually kind of tired of him attempting. I want him to go ahead and kill him off so my brother ain't even got to try no more. Don't even try for these folks. These folks are gone. And I'm talking about my people, they're gone. Like even when they know they're wrong, they just get quiet. No ideas come out. It's just mute. Oh, I'm just not gonna say anything. All right. Don't say anything. Before you say anything, know that somebody's fighting for you, crazy. And then they always want to use the word crazy to the person that's actually not being crazy. They just throw that word out. He's crazy, he's crazy, he's crazy. No, he's not. he's actually thinking logically. He's actually thinking, like, he's using his mind, and that's the only thing that, you know, our people have to understand how to do. Use your mind. We have forgot to use our mind. I wanted to harp on that education in school when Chief Firewater was going over those definitions. Education and schooling. Education is enlightening. If you ain't enlightened, then you're getting schooled.
Big difference between the
That's
two.
my piece.
Big difference between the two. But no, great points made by everybody. And like you said, you know, they quick to throw out that crazy term and say this and that. But even when we had the perfect example for a leader, he was still, you know, being called names by our group of people as well. And that's Martin Luther King. Even when you have the person who, the most excellent example of what our group of people can be, was still getting bashed by our group of people. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And like you said, it gets, you know, demoralizing when you say, okay, why are we even fighting for this group of people that won't even fight for themselves? But, you know, we can just continue to wake up one person, one at a time. Yeah, it's going to take time. Hopefully it shouldn't take that time at this point. I was having a conversation with Chief Alligator. You know, our people just, you know, we just only react to pain. So we have a high pain tolerance. We don't go to the doctor until we can't bear that pain anymore. So until we get to that point where it's like, okay, we can't bear this shit anymore, let's find a solution. It's going to continue to happen. So we're going to continue to have the Kanyes, the Martin Luther Kings, the Grandmaster Jays. We're going to continue to have these people speak for us, continue to get silenced or thrown in prison or just straight up killed off. And it's going to continue to happen until we as a group say, you know what, we're sick and tired of this shit. Let's actually try to find a solution instead of just, you know, not backing up these people who are trying to provide that solution. So shoot, with that being said, that's going to actually lead us into, or segue us into, one of our first readings for today, which would be the Deacons of Defense. A lot of people are unfamiliar with this group, but this is a group that would travel with Dr. Martin Luther King, because of course he preached nonviolence, but he wasn't no dummy. He wasn't stupid. He understood what the fuck was going on. And Chief Alligator stated earlier, we still need some protection. We still need those sticks. We still need those weapons, because we know who the enemy is and they know it's on site, and it's vice versa. So let me go ahead and pull that.
It's not even on site no more for them. They're comfortable. They don't even, it's nothing for them now. Like, I'm trying to understand Haiti, how Haiti had that revolution there. Like, how did they get to that point? Like, I'm looking into that. Like, what pushed Haiti over the point?
Facts.
Because today it's like there is no pushing point for our people.
We're too comfortable. They're too comfortable. And even going back to another conversation, 2020, people were uncomfortable. Everybody was uncomfortable. So we'll have to get back to that point. Maybe we need Trump back in the office to say, get those monkeys off the field. Maybe
this is what it is.
This is what it is. Maybe we need that in your face type of shit before people can, okay, let's wake back up. We got too comfortable. So I think that's what it is. Just people being too comfortable, being able to tolerate this pain. Oh yeah, we'll get a killing every fiscal quarter. That's fine. Just don't make it 7 in the fiscal quarter. That's doing too much. But if we need that in order to wake up, maybe that's what our people need.
Do a favor, Chief Biko, for those that don't. Can you pull up a different browser real quick and just go to Google?
Yeah.
So people, like you said, a lot of people don't even know who the Deacons of Defense are.
Got you.
Why they came about. If you just put that search term in, Deacons of Defense, and if we can show, you can show your screen on that. Okay. Now, if you look over to the right, if you put your mouse over there where you see the KKK, So historically, that's why the Deacons of Defense was created. During the Jim Crow era, these Europeans decided to organize under KKK, which we know the militia is their ground base. But these were World War II veterans, which would be our grandparent, these would be our great grandparents or our great uncles. They come back from World War II. They realize that these people are going in our towns, killing off landowners, killing off American business owners, hanging us. They decided to organize and they formed Deacons of Defense. The reason why we need to give that backdrop is because what Chief Biko was going to show is FBI or federal documents about that organization. And that rhymes with the NFAC, the Black Panthers, Kanye West. Why is it that anytime that we organize as a group of people, why are we deemed a threat to this government? So you can share your other screen with the file that you were about to show. I just wanted to let people know this organization was created to stop them from killing us in white sheets. But we become the threat to the federal government.
But I was going to say too, just the video that we played at the beginning, they're telling you these people, the Oath Keepers, they were violent. All of them were violent when they stormed the Capitol. That was a violent act, against, one of the biggest things that they could have done. But he just casually said that all of these people are Oath Keepers, people in the office and things like that, but they didn't make it seem like it was a violent thing. It's just ridiculous.
Who controls the media controls them all.
Right.
Yeah, Oath Keepers. And it sounds
right.
so
awesome. Right.
Facts. So here is, again, just a document. You said it's FBI document, right?
Correct. If you can go back one page, and you can, you may be able to hit the back button one time just to go back to the page before this.
The page before this, okay. Let me see, because it's just downloaded. That was the first page, this one here. Let me see if it's on the actual
because it should bring up all the different cities that the Deacons of Defense was in. So that's
okay.
This was the last time we were organized up into the 70s. In the 70s, these organizations turned into gangs. You see what I'm saying? So your Crips originally, your Bloods originally, it was to fight against KKK. It wasn't until the crack era in the 80s and the war they waged on us with quote unquote war on drugs, these positive like GDs, growth and development, what Kanye comes out of, it turned into Gangsters Disciples, but it started as growth and development. Same thing with Deacons of Defense, same thing with Black Panther Party. Most of these, what we call gangs now, they were started by members of one of these organizations from the 50s and 60s that were able to not go to jail or not get killed during that time. And remember, we're fighting just to desegregate. That's what the civil rights movement was about. It was about, I want to be able to go, if I fight for this country, I win the gold medal, I want to go where I want to go. I don't want to have to just go to the colored part of town. We weren't asking for tangibles. We weren't asking for land back. We had been kind of like an animal put in a cage for 100 years. We were just satisfied with letting us out the cage, play with other animals. We weren't even thinking about getting land back, getting resources back. Now here we are 2 generations later. Me and Chief Quietwater would be generation 1, born in the 70s. Then y'all come. Now we're starting to realize we don't have anything. So we're not throwing our ancestors under the bus with the Civil Rights Act. I understand that if you deprive a group of people with everything, just the fact that we integrated was a win. And that's why we still see first Black this, first Black that. Now you know it's because it wasn't that long ago you couldn't participate.
Nothing, nor get credit for anything. That was the
it looked like the first page on this document.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What's the?
You must mean the beginning of the paragraphs.
or as soon as you click on that link, it should just show you like Mississippi. It should just show all because they got, each state had different files. Like it's fine to go into the file because if you go up under right here,
Yeah, this is the Mississippi one.
names are very famous names amongst us within the Black Panther. Scroll up just a little bit. Right there, you got H. Rap Brown. So you can see that he's a famous Black Panther name. Okay, then you got SNCC, the Southern National Christian Conference. That was headquartered on Auburn Ave in Atlanta, where the Masonic building is on Auburn Ave. So you can see how it started with Deacons of Defense, World War II veterans organizing to fight against the Ku Klux Klan. Another 10 years later, then they come up with Black Panther Party. That's where you're going to know the name H. Rap Brown from. But what we're looking at is a federal document because the United States government deemed Negroes organizing as a threat. And it's the same thing to the day. That's why Grandmaster Jay is in jail right now on bullshit charges. So it's just a harsh reality that, yes, you are being warred against, whether you really want to realize it or not. This shit go back to the 50s. Anything y'all want to say before we get into the Civil Rights Act?
I never heard of the Deacon of Defense, and that's powerful. That means the church, the one that's speaking for the Most High, the one that doesn't want to cause harm, wants to be pure, had to take up arms. And I've never heard of this. So our pastors at a point would fight for us.
There's what the shits.
Well, don't associate deacon with the word pastor. Deacon is a Masonic term, or it's a worldwide term known for governing. So Deacon of Defense means those World War II veteran men, they were going to govern and protect the women and kids because the Ku Klux Klan was bum rushing. Because King ends up getting them in the 60s, it was them laying in the bushes. See, this is how they lie so much. When they show us King walking on nonviolent movements and stuff like that, what these Europeans are not telling you is you had World War II Army veterans laying in the bushes, letting them white folks know, yeah, sick them dogs today. That's what was going on behind the scenes. And the one time they caught them slipping when the Deacon of Defense wasn't there, that's when you see the videos of cops beating us over the head and sicking dogs. Most of the time they weren't doing that because them boys was laying in the woods, already waiting on the nonviolent people to come through their path. You with me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now this is great here just to see exactly what they're documenting as well. Like you said, these are different states too. So we got Mississippi. This is Louisiana, I believe. Yeah. New Orleans. And again, just accounting for the individuals within the Deacons of Defense, basically.
And the only reason I said that, like, again, I never heard of the Deacon of Defense, but I kind of grew up in the church as well. And anytime I heard deacon was inside the church. And, you know, my grandfather was a deacon. So that's why I threw that out there. Like, hold on, Deacon of Defenses. You've never heard of this one. So, but thank you for clearing that up, Chief Alligator.
I'm gonna share a secret on that. Most of your deacons in churches are Masons.
And that's when it clicked. As soon as you, yeah.
So this is a great document. Definitely want to get into just looking at this a little deeper, but definitely want to jump into the, what was it, the Civil Rights one? I think 1957 is the next one. We'll look at.
Most of y'all probably hadn't heard of this as well. Most of y'all only heard about the 1960s. The Civil Rights Movement actually started in the late 50s with the Deacons of Defense. So we're going to read the first Civil Rights Act to try to get rid of Jim Crow.
All right, perfect. So we have the 85th Congress of the United States of America. at the first session begun and held at the city of Washington on Thursday, the 3rd of January, 1957. An act to provide means of further securing and protecting the civil rights of persons within the jurisdiction of the United States, being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. Part 1, establishment of the Commission of Civil Rights. Section 101, there is created in the executive branch of the government a commission of civil rights, hereinafter called the Commission. The commission shall be composed of 6 members who shall be appointed by the president by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. Not more than 3 of the members shall at any one time be of the same political party. The president shall designate one of the members of the commission as chairman and one as vice chairman. The vice chairman shall act as chairman in the absence or disability of the chairman, or in the event of a vacancy in that office. Any vacancy in the commission shall not affect its powers and shall be filled in the same manner and subject to the same limitations with respect to party affiliations as the original appointment was made. 4 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum. And we go into the rules of procedure of the commission. Section 2, the chairman or one designated by him to act as chairman at a hearing of the commission shall announce in an opening statement the subject of the hearing. A copy of the commission's rules shall be made available to the witness before the commission. Witnesses at the hearings may be accompanied by their own counsel for the purpose of advising them concerning their constitutional rights. The chairman or acting chairman may punish breaches. May punish breaches of order and decorum and unprofessional ethics on the part of counsel by censure and exclusion from the hearings. If the commission determines that evidence or testimony at any hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate any person, it shall 1, receive such evidence or testimony in executive session, 2, afford such person an opportunity voluntarily to appear as a witness, and 3, receive and dispose of requests from such person to subpoena additional witnesses. Except as provided in section 102 and 105 of this act, the chairman shall receive and the commission shall dispose of requests to subpoena additional witnesses. No evidence or testimony taken in executive session may be released or used in public session without the consent of the commission. Whoever releases or uses in public without the consent of the commission evidence or testimony taken in executive session shall be fined not more than $1,000 or imprisoned for not more than 1 year. In the discretion of the commission, witnesses may submit brief and pertinent sworn statements in writing for inclusion in the record. The commission is the sole judge of the pertinence of testimony and evidence adduced at its hearings.
You scroll up to the top real quick, you read a lot.
Okay.
Can somebody provide the legal definition of civil so we can understand what civil rights is? Because to this day, I don't know who civil is.
Right.
We're
I
talking
got
about
it in front of me. So civil is an adjective relating to the civil law of life, pertaining to the internal affairs of a state, from Old French civil, relating to civil law. That's his first definition. I'll read it again. Relating to the civil law of life. No, great point. You got, what does civil mean? So let's.
Who is civil?
Who is civil?
Relating to a society, pertaining to a public life, relating to a civic order, benefiting a citizen, hence by extension, popular, affordable, affable, alternative, adjective, derivative of civis. So again,
Sound like a catch-all.
circles when it comes to this word.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stop and think about it for a minute. What two type of court systems do you have under this government?
Civil and criminal.
Correct. Criminal speaks for itself. We all know what criminal court is. Civil court is when two people are fighting against each other. It could be a lawsuit, it could be a child-related issue, but it's two adults
Anything.
can't get on the same page. They go to fight, but they fight in a courtroom. So now when you put that context of a civil court, you got the United States government who has segregated us on our own land. Now you got that group of people that's being segregated. We're saying, hey, be civil with us. Are you following?
Mhm.
Stop
For
fighting.
sure.
And so what is the government saying it's going to do? If you can highlight under part 1, Chief Biko, where you are, if you can highlight commission. Part 1, scroll up a little bit with your cursor. Boom, right there. Aren't we there right now with the reparation hearing? That's the first video on our Instagram page. They want to do a study. So we're repeating the same cycle they did in 1957. The United States, well, we'll study our Jim Crow situation in the South. We ain't gonna do nothing about it. We want to anything y'all want to build on that, because we're right there now again with being repaired. Now we want to go another step and say, hey, we need to be repaired. Okay, we've integrated, we can go to schools, we can participate in the government. We need our shit back. We'll study it. We'll create a study commission.
Yeah.
And again, it's us asking for something that we should just take, or we should come together and just create our own. But again, we're asking them to do something that they had no plans or intentions for us to be a part of, for them to give us anything or any of those things. So again, it's a stance of us being on the lower end of having to look up for help or look up for someone to give us something.
Nobody at the top is gonna look down and be like, oh, I'm gonna help you. But as Chief Biko was reading, I get frustrated. And I know we've mentioned this before on our channel about putting shit on paper. As he's reading, I'm like, if we just put shit on paper and make it sound good, make it look good, maybe our people might believe what the fuck we saying. Maybe if we make a 200-page document of civil,
but they ain't gonna read it though.
Yeah, they might not read it, but it's like, it's frustrating because they got in alignment with themselves. If Chief Biko want to scroll back to the very top of this page, I think it says whatever the fuck it says, 85th Congress of the United States of America. So they wrote this knowing like, hey, this is what it is moving forward until the 86th, whatever. Their people listen. Our people, if we can put something on paper first, and maybe, I don't know, I don't want to go out in the streets and hand out some shit like we got down, whatever them people is that knock on our door at Sunday in the morning is. But, we have no type of structure, and all this is showing me is structure. Like, it's just structure for them. Our people so far gone from structure, and I can kind of understand that we are free beings, but as I develop my spirituality, I know I have to write some shit down first, and then that shit just starts to fucking happen. And that's all this is, man. They just put the shit on. They just put it down, and our people need to understand. Like, if anybody want to write up some shit for us and they look like us, let's take a look into it. Right now we're just doing a lot of talking, and shout out to our channel for even pushing that shit to the next level for what we're doing. But it's just we really need to understand how they move. They write it down first and then they execute. Their group doesn't come from individual thinkings. It's one mastermind, and then they all get in alignment. We have to find that mastermind and get in alignment. We won't move forward until we know how to put shit on paper.
And it needs to be everybody, like you said, on one accord. We just highlighted an example of structure with the Deacons
on code,
of being on code. yes, they're going to think of it as a threat, but stop being so pussy to be afraid to even start something because you think something like that's going to happen. If you think something like that is going to happen, then plan accordingly. Meaning, get your ass some guns, like we said in the beginning of the video. Make sure you have a defense. We say it every time we start a video. Maroon historical points. Leaders of first and foremost were military figures. Like that comes with establishing your own thing. You have to have security in order to have the whatever plan come to fruition, whether that be in regular business or anything. Every business is going to have security. It just comes with the territory. So we have to get past that fear of, okay, well, if we do, we know they're going to do something. Okay, stop being spooky. Yeah, stop being, this spookism and just plan accordingly. Okay, if you know that's going to happen, let's have something that's going to combat that. And
I get so frustrated with this group. I'm so sorry, Chipico. I get so frustrated because you said fear. I get so frustrated with this group, even though I don't listen to the music they listen to, or I try to, push it away as much as possible. All of it is about shooting and killing. So it's like, what the fuck wrong with you when you what? Yeah. Like, you really not about that life. Yeah. You're pretending. Stop pretending and stand on something. That's what pisses me off. Stop pretending and stand on something. You niggas just out here. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I really have no idea what's going on. Niggas not standing on nothing. It's just every day, these social media websites, every day these social media conversations, whatever is the next big thing. Right now it's homecoming week. No disrespect to homecoming week, but how important it is when your people dying. How important is that when to party when your people are dying? Help me out. And I don't see anything important in that.
And it just amazes me how we really do come together on some entertainment stuff. Like
on
we
some
come
bullshit
together in the masses to party and to celebrate stuff that has no substance. I'm not going to say it doesn't have any substance, but if you put it on the scale, definitely people getting killed on video is at the top of the list where we need to be focusing our energy, not partying, not these trends, not these challenges on social media and what's trendy right now and all of that stuff. If we could come together like that, because we do for those type of things, we actually do come together for those type of things, but and it's one mission to get to this place and have a great time and to post about it online after the fact. And then that's when things go viral and just little stupid little stuff that gets millions and millions of views and hits and things like that. So it's just like, why not this?
And I fool myself because I'd be like, oh wait, so we are one band, one band, one sound. I see the Jackson State, HBCU going crazy. I got a lot of friends that graduated from there. That was a packed out stadium. And I'll fool myself thinking, okay, we will stand together. But not when it comes to that talk.
Yeah.
Football is cool. Football is, but whoa. Whatever this is, what did she say again? 85th Congress of the United States of America? No.
I'm good on that.
No, we don't want to talk about that, Thomas. Delete Thomas. I'm like, all right. Good luck in the future with your fucking kids.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Keep playing their game.
That's what it is. How many times we got to celebrate our failures? Every week you want to take a shot.
I seen y'all post that.
It's like, it's silly.
I was proud of that. If I said it's an issue.
Yeah.
I was proud y'all said it like, yeah, you niggas going out every weekend toasting into the air. Niggas just got the head blown off.
You taking L's
what are you talking about?
Day. So that's just the biggest thing, man. And kind of just to bring it back full circle, like you said, Chief Alligator earlier, we'll study it. We'll acknowledge by studying that, we're hitting you guys across the head every chance we get. We're separating everything. Just like how in the beginning of the video, when we played Anti-Defamation League, we'll acknowledge that we have militia infiltrated, but that doesn't mean we're going to do anything about it. So just like the reparations. We'll study it, we'll acknowledge it, but we ain't finna action on it. So again, just more examples of that, again, throughout history. So even starting here in 1957.
And that prisoner of war word, it is so very true. It is so very, very true, but it's past prisoner of war now. We're in an asylum in our minds. We're locked up in our minds. There's no longer a prisoner of war where you can't go outside. It's our minds, and it stresses me out so much because I can't have these conversations. I can have these conversations with everybody on this channel, but everybody else, their mind is so shackled, and it hurts my feelings because I'm like, damn, like, what are you actually thinking? I really want to know what you're thinking. Like, talk about it. Let me know what you're thinking, and no one will ever talk about it. But that prisoner of war word has it has exceeded its actual meaning at this point. It's so far prisoner of war, like it's honestly scary. Like you don't really know what's going on at this point because it doesn't look like a prisoner of war. So what is it?
Mhm. Yeah,
If I can, yeah, what y'all are saying, I'm gonna just try to be as concise as I possibly can. Going back to that prisoner of war term and understanding 1957, we were relegated to religion. That's the only time that they would let us organize. I think we really have to wrap our minds around that during the Seminole Wars that never ended, as they continued to bomb our towns, hang our business leaders, hang our wealthy, hang our landowners. Once they were able to do that, they were able to get inside the house 10 years later with the Affordable Care Act. We're going to get into all of that, how they split up the house, made the woman head of household. We're so disorganized that what you're looking at here is mastermind or groupthink. It has to come out of your mind and on paper first to come alive. Then you have something to govern yourself by. That's why I keep going back to the Congressional Black Caucus, which is also infiltrated and doesn't work for us. There's no game plan being laid out for this group of people. And so what happens is we go from event to event, and it's trauma porn at this point for us. You know, I'm numb to it at this point. You know, when I see, oh, some teenager just got his head blown off in Mississippi, I don't even look at it anymore because I understand walking away from George Floyd when the world was on your side. And then an election came after that and you got nothing. Now you're about to come at a midterm point. 2 years into this man's administration, you've gotten nothing specific and you still don't have nothing in writing. It's obvious where we're headed as a group of people. And now we got another generation losing faith to even stand up, because just like the reason why our parents on this channel never talked about the 60s is because they didn't back the Black Panthers and the Deacons of Defense from that time because they're still in prison as political prisoners of war. Now our generation has the leader of the NFAC locked up and he hasn't been sentenced yet, but what happens is that kills the spirit of anybody wanting to stand up for this group because you know they're not going to have your back. So now that goes to Kanye West, right? We're going to watch. I don't even want to put this in the ether, but if we let Bill Cosby get crucified in front of us and come to find out it was a bullshit court case and they let him out after sending him to prison, if we watch R. Kelly go down, we've watched so many people go down and we're afraid to back them. What makes us think that Kanye won't go a similar path? And
back them whether they're right or wrong, just like these people do.
And that's what I was going to say at the end. They're killing you on video and they don't get that deep into who that white guy was. They don't get into the fact that he was divorced or he's got 3 kids or he's got mental issues. It's like we nitpick people who step up for us to a point where they're never going to be perfect. All they know is, oh, we got another officer killed one of them niggers. All right, create a GoFundMe account. Let's give them millions of dollars. You good? All right, you got the money to fight the case? We're not thinking like that. We want to get all into the nuance of who are you? How many times have you been married? Does he have illegitimate kids? None of that shit should matter. All we should be focused on is he looks like us, we got his back.
Facts.
Because it's really a matter of time of it, you know, not to put it out there like that, but when it happens to someone that you know, and then people are doing that to your family member, oh, he had 10 kids and he wasn't no good. He used to sell drugs. He used to do this, but that's your cousin, your brother, your son. Then it'll click, maybe. You know what I'm saying? That I don't care what my family member did. I'm going to go to war for them.
That's blood,
or whatever.
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that, and that's exactly what they do. They don't care about the person. They care about them sticking together and meeting that common goal with each other collectively.
Absolutely. We'll handle that shit internally, but outside, nah. We together. Like he said.
And they're gonna eventually crucify my boy. He getting
right.
In their eyes, that billion, you know, he feeling it. And as he should, it's respected in my eyes, but it's not much longer will he be able to be on the internet and the TV speaking like he can. Because we won't back him up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tie this in. I wasn't a fan of the artist. No particular reason. We're the same age, but I thought about it because
Same song.
Oh, yes. So I caught the interview because it was 84,000 people in the chat. So I got lucky to hear the interview. But this what I want to share just on hip hop. I am hip hop. I bought my first rap tape at in the third grade, Raising Hell, Run DMC. The people that I grew up listening to, me and Kanye West, those men empowered us. Those were 21, 22-year-old men, Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. Rakim, Pow'S, Public Enemy. When you grow up with that alpha male energy in your ear, Ice Cube, all these guys were political. Kanye is what we call a backpack rapper. He comes from that Tribe Called Quest, that conscious rap era. So it looks very hypocritical of us. He's not gangster rap. He's hip hop. And he's a billionaire. And he's been in rooms. He kept talking about boardrooms. That means he's got a group of mentors around him. So he's being exposed on a level that most niggas in his industry can't understand. He's smoking blunts and drinking, basically giving up game to y'all. Like, look, I'm in these rooms. We're not in those rooms. And on top of that, we're not owning anything. And we don't want to hear that part. He got slid through the back door. He got his grind on. Now he got his shit together. Now he coming back to the people like, look, I done been on the other side, man. This was going on. We're not in that room. And he's exposing everybody that I grew up listening to, your LL Cool J's, your Big Daddy Kane, your Carrot. Nobody can Kanye West. Because when they stop and think about it, damn, that's what our music was about. It was about standing up. Hip hop culture, if y'all don't know, it was about being who you are. You see what I'm saying? That could go into having dreads, gold teeth, tattoos, all of that was hip hop. We're not conforming to your European structure. We're going to be who we are, but as long as we're good at what we do, you got to take me as is.
That's hip hop. And I hate when people compare hip hop to rap, saying it's the same thing. No, hip hop is about standing up. Rap is about killing who look like you.
Great point on that. So I hope that we don't watch him, because this will be devastating for my generation and y'all generation, Chief Blackcoat and Chief Biko, because this is your uncle, basically. He's old enough to be your uncle. And so now you got your uncle. Now your uncles and your cousins got to give you a reason why not to back this man. He ain't smoking weed and drinking every day. He ain't a part of a gang. He ain't gang. You feel me? Who cares who he married and who he had kids by? You know, But that's the fear that y'all are talking about. We want to nitpick who speaks up because we want a reason and an excuse not to back them.
Facts. And that's why I made that point earlier with MLK. When you get the most of high quality standard individual that you can possibly even think of, you stealing back his ass. So it really don't matter what the package looks like or how it's presented, you're still not trying to do anything. So again, like Chief Quietwater, Chief Black Coat, Chief Alligator saying, do you really want what you're saying you want? Do you really want freedom? Because when I open the door, your ass ain't even trying to look to even walk through the door. You're not
You
trying
don't
to
want freedom.
You're making every excuse not to walk through this door, but I've opened it for you. Yet you saying, oh, I gotta make sure, I catch the game today. I gotta make sure, I'm watching the football game, or I gotta go see Big Lotto perform. Like, you're making all these excuses not to walk through this door, but you're saying you want one thing, but your actions are saying another thing. And for my Bible thumpers out there, what person in this religious text has ever been the greatest person ever? We was talking about this earlier. Moses was a drunkard. Who was the other example we gave of? I think Noah. He had issues. So all of these people had issues that they had to overcome in order to be the person that they came or would become, like Kanye, like Malcolm X. So you're so quick to pull these religions, but you're not actually nitpicking these individuals who you're claiming, oh, we got to be like Moses. We got to be like, you're being hypocrites. That's what you're being.
And it also goes back to when Kanye West said that people choose to be slaves.
Yep.
I mean, it just circles right back around to when he made that statement.
And one more thing that jumped out for me for Kanye when he said he was GD in that interview on the Drink Champs, but he didn't say gangster disciples. He said growth and development. So I have to put that in context because being born in the same decade that he was born in, he got structure early in life. And with his mom being a teacher, so he was groomed the right way. Where the Jew fucked up at, which they do with a lot of us, is they don't realize you're dealing with the spook that sat by the door. Some of us will come in there and take notes of everything you're doing and how you're winning, and we're gonna follow that shit to a T.
You said it again.
Huh?
The scoop that what?
The spook that sat by the door. So he knows just as much about the Jewish tradition as they do. But at the same time, he's comparing it to the group of people that he's a part of. But if you look at his business model, this is what I took from his interview. He started off as an artist. Look at who his mentors were. Jay-Z, Damon Dash. He became a great artist, then he became a producer. Then hanging around the Jews, he understood how to compound wealth. You got to create a nonprofit organization so you don't pay tax on the money. Then he went the religious route. Then I had the concerts in my church so I can sell my merchandise. I ain't got to pay no tax on it. Once I get that bag up, now I'm finna say, fuck y'all. And so he's thinking, damn, my people got my back, but my people are like, whoa, his frequency is too high for the average Negro.
Damn.
His frequency is too high. They're not understanding it took him 20 years to do it. But it's going to be harder for the next Negro to get in that room like Kanye did, because now the Jew knows, I don't want to say they can't trust us, but you can't deprive a group and then let one in and think that if he's real, he's not going to eventually come back to his people and be like, look, this is how they win.
Correct.
Going back to what Chief Blackco said, with structure, they write that shit out and they all execute.
And that's all Ye did. He just executed.
He executed. He learned from I don't think they're gonna crucify him. I really don't think the music industry or the entertainment industry, which is what he's a part of, I don't think we're gonna watch them do whatever they want to him. And the only reason I'm saying that is because you can't ask for somebody better than Kanye. He's not he's not a violent rapper. You see what I'm saying? So what do you really have a problem with him about?
Yeah.
Who he married? Kind of all in his personal business at
Standing up
that
for his
point.
people.
Yeah, who cares who he married?
He's standing up for the people. And that's why they don't like it. He's trying to do what we're doing on this channel. Wake up, nigga.
Mhm.
And they don't want that.
They don't have a
If
choice.
we all woke up.
And at the same time, he's not getting media coverage through quote unquote black media, right? But look at this. Tariq Nasheed and everybody are dogging Kanye, but they getting ready to have a rally in DC next month for reparations.
I don't pay them no attention, so I didn't even know that, but it sounds about right.
You see what I'm saying? So Kanye's trying to have the conversation about who we are. You got a segment of us that don't want to open that door and have that conversation, but then y'all finna turn right around and go to DC and talk about the same thing that he just said. You following me?
I hope they go with something written down, you know. Like,
And it's I wouldn't be surprised if they get attacked when they go there. That's the way I'm thinking that when they go up there, it wouldn't be surprised if something happens where people go to jail or something like that, because every time we organize and go up there, it's always military comes out. They did it in 2020.
So again, just more examples of what we've been saying. Again, it's like we're prisoners in our own minds at this point, as Chief Black Coat stated earlier, because we won't even envision ourselves being free.
and we're the geniuses.
We have geniuses, and we have like an example of a person that looks like us, that we celebrated all this time, showing us how to do it. We think it's crazy because we can't get out of our mental prison of seeing that freedom. Because that's all it is. It's all mental at this point. We have all the examples which we need: structure, defense. Now we just need to put it all together.